Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is City of Heroes on the private servers. And it has been a while since I have done a recording, so let me explain. I got to probably episode 180 or so. If you're watching this, you may have seen that one. And we're level 42 or 3, and I think I just hit 43. And things were going pretty well. And at that point, I made a decision, and that decision was I was going to stop recording this character in part because of just how I felt about doing the recordings. I'd gotten a huge backlog of recordings. I was at recording episode 180, but I'd only uploaded like 30 or 40 of them. And I was making so many recordings a day, I was running out of 4 terabyte hard drive space on my external hard drive to store all these things. And so I said, all right, I think I'm going to stop. I had been doing not Scrapper, Stalker videos, and I had given up on those for reasons I don't want to get into. I was still doing the Liberty Lass, and I still want to do the Liberty Lass, who's my tanker, for a variety of reasons, which I'll explain on her stream, on her series. But for this character, I had 3 reasons. First, I felt like I'd shown people everything they need to see about how to play the game and how to play it without going crazy on sets and just using SOs and things like that. I had also done rants about just about everything I thought I needed to rant about up to that point. And also, I had started playing a Sentinel, and I was level 10 or 11 with her at that point, and I was having a lot of fun because I wasn't recording it and I was enjoying not recording. Now, since then, what I've done is I'm really not playing Silver Phoenix as much as I had been for a lot of reasons. One of it is just that my work has started up again. I'm a college teacher, so I was off for the summer. I was still doing some work, but I was recording in the mornings and I was recording in the afternoons, and I was uploading in the mornings and uploading in the afternoons, and only going to work sort of in the middle of the day, and that stopped. I have to be at work at 7:38 in the morning, and I don't get home until after 6, and so I really can't play this character that much anymore. I have to go to bed at a reasonable hour, so I really only get to play her a little bit anyway, during the week at least. And I've also been playing my alts a lot more, so I don't feel like I'm going to have as much a backlog of video. I've also started, now that I've uploaded 90 of the videos to YouTube, I'm still keeping some of my favorite ones on the hard drive, but I started deleting ones that are just sort of just doing missions, and I don't really say anything that's all that interesting. In terms of keeping it for my memory of the game, I have hours and hours of video, more than I'll ever be able to watch in a sitting. So, in case the game goes away, I've got plenty of that. But in the meantime, the other thing that happened is NVIDIA GeForce has been giving me the OX003 error, and I've tried all the different possible fixes, including reinstalling and Windows updating and all that stuff. It works for a little while and then goes away. And I had been using NVIDIA GeForce to record, so I was trying to still record Liberty Lass because she's a tanker, and I wanted to show people how tanking works. And I had never really done that because she's only like level 23 or something at the time of this recording. And I went in there to try to record it, and I couldn't because it just wasn't taking the recording. The GeForce Experience was how I was doing the recording. I still haven't been able to fix that problem. The graphics drivers work fine, but the GeForce Experience won't boot. And I've tried all the different remedies, none of them work, and so I couldn't record. So I just didn't play Liberty Lass that much because I said, well, when I start figuring out how to record, I'll record her again. And I've been playing Silver Phoenix to level 47, and I decided, you know what, I want to start doing some recording again, particularly because she plays a lot differently now. I've got the missions now. Oh, you can't see it here, but the notoriety set to +2 levels still, but also ×2 characters, so she's getting more enemies. And so uh, I thought it might be interesting to bring people back and have them see how she's doing. Let's take a look here. She has 49 million influence. And remember, somebody gave me 10 million influence way back when I was level 17. Somehow I got 10 million influence. I've never spent that. So she actually has earned 39 million. Where'd she get all the influence from? Well, she had about 30 million. 30, yeah, 30 million. And there was some piece of salvage. I don't remember what it was. No, some recipe that I sold for 15 million, and that's why she has so much. She has a bunch of enhancement sets now. At level 47, here's where we stand. She has all but Crippling Axe Kick, which I've never gotten and I never will because I don't need it. And we have enhancement sets on all of our 6-slotted attacks. So we have Scrapper Strike, we have Multi Strike, we have Touch of Death, which I finally got all the. I think my last recording I had 2 of these. I finally got all 6. It cost me about, I think it was about 8 million to get all of these combined, which was ridiculous. We've always had critical strikes. We got Mako's Bite here, and we have Thunder Kick here. Now we don't have any sets on our toggles, but as you can see, I've 5-slotted them. At this point, Luck of the Gambler could potentially work. I may 6-slot them to get the 6th bonus of Luck of the Gambler. Haven't decided that yet. Over on this side, Conserve Power is triple slotted. We're not going to do any more with that. I've gotten Physical Perfection, which is kind of like Health and Stamina combined, about half as good as each. And I've triple slotted that for Stamina, and I'm thinking about whether to triple slot that for Health. I've also got Focused Accuracy, which increases the accuracy of our character, plus 5% to hit. I thought it was more than that, but it increases the accuracy, and so I toggle that up when I'm fighting like Rick-D drones and things like that. And it's very draining on the endurance, so I have an endurance reducer on it, and I probably want to put another one. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my level 48 and 50 slots, and I have no idea what I'm going to get for my 49 power because I don't really want anything. So we'll see. I really wish you could opt at level 49 to take 3 slots instead of another power because I'd rather have the slots, frankly. So we'll see what happens. As you can see with Combat Jump on, our character has 39, almost 40% defense against melee, 36 against range, 38 against AoE, and we now have 15.75% smashing resistance, which is pretty good. We don't have resistance to the other things, and one of the reasons I'm thinking about getting 6-slotting Luck of the Gambler is because that 6th slot, if you look at the recipe, I have one of them. The 6th slot all the way down at the bottom in the gray increases toxic and psionic resistance by 4.5%. So if I do that in 3 powers, we'll end up with a 15% toxic resistance-ish. So that's actually pretty good. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, we're on a story arc, and I want you to see how this character now plays at level 47 with all of her powers slotted in and that sort of thing. Hopefully the sound is good. I've messed around with it a bit. I think I've got it to the levels that are similar to how I had it before, but I'm not really sure. We're doing a story arc for Crimson, so this story arc is called Operation Worldwide Red, and what happened is there was a kidnapping attempt on a Chinese ambassador named Zheng Xiaoxuan. I think I've said that right. And his aide, Liang Linwei, and the aide actually then got kidnapped again, and we saved a couple of these ambassadors, and then it turned out that Zheng is actually a shape-shifting villain called Moment, and Crimson wants us to go after this guy and try to capture him. So we don't have any missions. Let's go ahead and ask him for a mission. And he says, thanks to you, Ambassador Zheng, the real Ambassador Zheng, he got kidnapped and I just saved him, is safe and sound and under Freedom Corps protection. The problem is that the shapeshifter who is impersonating him is still in charge of the Chinese embassy and causing trouble. However, because you were thorough and made sure that none of the Malta agents holding the real ambassador were able to get word that you freed him, this presents us with a window of opportunity to catch the shapeshifter Moment. Silver Phoenix, it's time to put an end to the situation. So we are going to try to defeat Moment and his men. My guess is this is going to be an elite boss. We should be fine on this. Let's hope. We've got all of our enhancements. We have our focus accuracy and so forth. And let's go ahead and turn on Super Jump and head over to this. So these guys have been pretty tough. The Malta, in addition to having the sappers, they have those operatives that can summon auto turrets, which are very accurate and take a long time to kill and don't give you any experience. So we'll see how this goes. I don't know if I'll be able to take this boss at ×2+2, but hopefully I will. Shouldn't be an arch villain, I hope. And that was dumb. I should not have gone around the corner like that. without checking to make sure there wasn't a sapper. So yeah, I've been playing this character quite a bit. I've also been playing a brute. I've been playing a sentinel without recording anything. And I played a little bit of Liberty Lass without recording because I couldn't get the recording to work, but I do want to start recording that again. I'm probably not going to do what I had done before and record every bit of this character. I'll just record stuff as I go, things that I think will be interesting, parts of story arcs like this where it's at the finale, where hopefully it'll be interesting, and maybe you'll even get entertained by having me die or something, you know, to an arch villain. We'll see. Hopefully it'll be worth watching and people will enjoy. I do know I had one person when I had stopped posting on a regular. I was posting twice a day, and I had started posting like maybe once every other day, and I went a couple of days without being able to post just because work had started up and I was really busy. I need all these blues, and so somebody made a post, very kindly made a post and said, I hope you're going to keep doing this because I've enjoyed it. And it's actually somebody that was, I guess they can't play the game for some reason. Their computer isn't working, or they don't have the right operating system or whatever, and they're like, I can't play the game, but I've been enjoying watching you play, and they were going to miss it if I stopped. So that's always nice to hear. I appreciate that. It's, I'm glad at least somebody's enjoying. I'm enjoying making them, and I found when I wasn't recording, you know, at first I was like, oh good, I'm not recording, but then I started to miss it. Sometimes I wanted to talk about stuff, and there wasn't anybody to talk to. I would talk to myself, but I do that sometimes anyway. But yeah, it's nice to be able to make a recording and talk about things. And so, I don't know, not a lot's been going on in terms of the game for the character in the last few levels. I've just been doing my story arcs and missions. One of the issues I've run into with my supergroup, and it's nothing that they've done particularly wrong, but one of the issues I've run into is I've just been having a lot of trouble connecting with those guys, especially since I've started working. They run things at hours that I simply can't do, and they do certain things in ways that I just don't enjoy, so I don't participate in those. So it's been a bit of a struggle. I think I've roleplayed with them once in the last month. A lot of the roleplay they conduct on Discord, which I don't happen to like. I'd rather do the roleplay here in the game with my character, so I can do emotes and stuff with it, and also because the Discord allows much longer text strings. There's a tendency of people to write a lot, whereas City of Heroes, there's a chat limit. When you type into the chat window, you can only type just so much, and that prevents you from making these big long poses, which I find helps the roleplay because it sort of forces kind of dialogue on you instead of one person making big long paragraphs. Some people like the big long paragraphs. I tend not to, even in role-playing. So I'll show you what some people will do is something like this. So they're going to say Silver Phoenix frowns at you and says, and then some text here, and then she turns to X and nods, and they'll do a big long thing like that, whereas I prefer to say something like this, and then what my dialogue is, right, and then nods to the other person, right? And if you look in the chat, right, this becomes 3 short poses instead of 1 long pose. So I actually prefer the shorter stuff. I find it easier to follow, easier to read, and also it makes it easier to inject your role play into it. If somebody's spamming paragraphs into the chat window or into the Discord, it's like, okay, well, when is my turn to speak? You either have to interrupt them or kind of force your way into the conversation, and I don't like doing that, right? I prefer if it, I feel like it flows more naturally if you have the shorter text. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by fighting these titans. Oh, this one's a boss. Okay, I had not realized. Alright, let's go ahead and pop luck. Oh, I already popped a look. See, I'm being distracted by talking. I did not screw up like that, by the way, anywhere near as much when I wasn't talking. I think Silver Phoenix died once in the 4 levels and I don't know 3 or 4 story arcs and dozens of missions I played without recording. And that was when I was with a friend and I was helping them on their mission and they had set it too hard, which is very common. People set their missions really hard and can't do it, and then they call for help, and then I go in and I end up dying. Didn't happen much, just once. So anyway, the supergroup tends to do a lot of Discord roleplay, which I can't really get into very much, and I tend not to. They do it it's very confusing to me. They have all of these, and it's not like I don't understand it, it's just hard to follow to me. They have all these different, in the Discord, different chat rooms, and so like the meeting hall, the foyer, the lab, whatever, that are mimic the different areas of the supergroup base, which is kind of cool. And the roleplay can happen there, but then like there's roleplay going on in different chat rooms with different people, and they're moving from one to the other. And in the Discord, you've got to then switch. You got to click on it to see what's going on, and I don't know. I just find it very spammy and very hard to follow, and not pleasurable to. Not pleasure. Just sapper. Whoa, no. All right, where's the sapper? All right. I just find it not pleasurable to do. Right, and I did tell them that. I mean, the supergroup has this thing where they do check-ins every other Friday. They just check in with you to make sure things are going okay. And I told the officer who checked in with me, look, I'm sorry I haven't participated in a lot of these Discord roleplay, but it's just not for me. And he's like, yeah, I don't really like it either. Although he did participate in it. He's like, yeah, it's not really my thing either. But they do that because, and to be fair, it's a good reason, right? They do it because not everybody can get in game. You know, some people might be at work or whatever. They can just fire up Discord on their phone and at least watch the roleplay and participate in it a little bit. And whereas maybe only 3 or 4 of us can get online, and maybe 12 people can actually watch the Discord. And so, you know, they're trying to accommodate everybody, and I appreciate that. I actually think that's really nice of them to do, but it's just not a type of role-playing that I enjoy myself and that I can follow. And so I tried getting into it, and I just couldn't, and I just gave up and started playing the game while they were role-playing. And I guess that's kind of rude, but I just wasn't enjoying it. The other thing is they do an awful lot of PvE that doesn't seem to be role-played, and I was really hoping to get some role-play out of that. And then one of the leaders started doing a set of task forces. Like every Friday, she does another task force, and I'm too late on this guy. He's going to pull the... I bet he got the auto turret, yeah. Every Friday she does a task force, and it's labeled as an in-character task force, right? Where, oh, there's a sapper, click on him, there we go. No, I missed him, that's not good. Knock him over. Jeez, I couldn't hit him or knock him over, that's not good. Click that, quick, there we go. Alright, yeah, those guys are horrible. Sapper, one hit will take your endurance all the way down. We do have conserve power, so if we need it, we can use it. You can see they're not really hitting me much. I'll talk about... Let me finish up with the supergroup, and then we'll talk about the character and how it's performing. So, they do these in-character task forces. Man, I would love to do that. I haven't done any task forces on Silver Phoenix. Didn't need to hit that. I haven't done any task forces yet with Silver Phoenix. And I want to do them in character. That's my bread and butter. That's what I want to do, is not just run the mission to run the mission, but actually run it in character. And so I'm just being a little cautious here to make sure I know what I'm getting into. Alright. So that's great. I should be all over that. It's Friday night, you know, end of the week. Yeah, it starts at 11 my time. It's too late. I can't. Right? I've been not only up all day since 6, but I've been up all week, every day since 6. And by Friday night, I am tired. And there is no way I'm going to be able to stay awake for a 3-hour task force till 2 in the morning. You know, I mean, some of them don't last that long, but some of them do. And I just do not have the energy to do that. So, as much as that's like exactly what I was hoping to get out of this guild, which is in-character mission running, it's my favorite thing to do in City of Heroes, is to run the mission and play it in character. It's exactly what I want. It's task forces, which you can't easily do solo, so it's great. You know, that you can do it together with people, and it's going to be with my super group, so it would be super fun, and I would love to get Phoenix involved in that. But I cannot stay up till 11 o'clock. I cannot start at 11 o'clock, right? Staying up till 11 is fine, but to start at 11, I cannot do it. It's too late. In fact, I have a really good friend. We've been playing twins, like, well, siblings, a brother and sister. My male character is Infinity Lad, and his female character is Vibrata. And we've been playing them. They were from Pretoria, and they're now 20th level, and they're in the gotta watch out for that sapper there. They're in they're 23rd level or so, and they're in the Talos Island and everything. And so we've been having a lot of fun. We only play them together, but I think he gets aggravated at me because we'll start at 8 o'clock, and 10 o'clock I'm like, okay, I'm done. And he wants to play till 3 in the morning, and I'm like, go play something else, because I can't. I have to go to sleep. I actually get migraines if I don't get enough sleep, and they're pretty bad. I mean, they last for days. So yeah, I'm very cautious about that now. When I was younger and didn't get migraines, I would stay up till 3 in the morning and then get up at 6 a.m. and go to work, and I'd be fine. But I can't do that. I'm 50 years old. I can't do that anymore. I just can't. My body won't. My body can't do it. And so I can't start playing at 11 o'clock. And I'm just not enjoying the Discord stuff. And that's like a lot of what they've been doing. So I feel kind of bad that I'm not really participating in the supergroup stuff. But then even more recently, they had a meetup. Oh, let's just have everybody, we have a bunch of new players, let's just all meet up. And they picked the 3-hour period on a weekend, on Saturday, from 5 to 8, when I have something else that I do every Saturday from 5 to 8. And it really doesn't matter what it is. It's just, that's like, seriously, on a Saturday, that's the 3 hours that you're going to pick that I can't do. And then they said, oh, we'll do it again on Sunday from 12 to 2, and that was the 2 hours on Sunday. That particular Sunday, most Sundays it's fine, but that particular Sunday, I could not do it. I had some errands to run that had to be done like afternoon because the places weren't open before that. And I didn't want to be trying to run those errands at 4 or 5 in the afternoon on a Sunday, because then it gets crowded. And so I couldn't do that either. And so, yeah, that's been really frustrating for me, that they always just seem to have a schedule that's just not compatible with mine. And there's nothing I can do about that. I mean, they're trying to accommodate. They take votes and stuff. It's not like the leaders just arbitrarily do this. They take votes. They try to accommodate the largest number of people. It's just that so happens that my schedule just doesn't work with theirs. And that's been pretty frustrating, because it's a nice group. They're good people, and they roleplay really well. I just haven't had a chance to get into it with them because of scheduling and stuff. So it's really unfortunate, but nothing I can do about that. So now, in terms of how this character performs, she's performing actually quite well. Honestly, I don't notice the smashing and lethal resistance at all. When she gets hit, she still seems to take massive amounts of damage, even from smashes and punches and things. So I don't know. You can see she's taking a lot of damage from the burn. That's because she doesn't have really any appreciable fire resistance. But I seem to take an awful lot of damage from smashing and lethal, even though I theoretically have resistance to it. So I don't know. We don't need that. Come on. Okay. So do we have any sappers here? I've been really sloppy about looking for sappers. We had engineers, gunslingers. Yeah, these guys are probably going to pull an auto turret on me. That's alright. Why is Control Tab not bringing... It's supposed to bring you to the nearest target. We have not needed focus accuracy. These guys are not hard to hit. Why? I don't know why Control Tab is not working. Oh, because I'm hitting Control Caps Lock. Okay, well, that would... Let's see if Control Actual Tab... Yeah, that's working. Okay. Yeah, if you don't hit the right key, it doesn't work. Oh, yeah, I do that a lot, and then I don't realize I was hitting Control Caps Lock, and then I get out of the program and I start typing, and I end up typing in all caps, and I realize, oh, I was hitting Caps Lock. So yeah, I don't know how this is going to work. This is OBS recording this. Hopefully it's recording it pretty well. This episode's already getting a little long, so we're just going to do this one mission. Hopefully I won't die, because that's going to make it longer. I guess I should have deleted those awakens in case I die, but... Oh, yeah. I didn't hit this guy fast enough. Okay. You can see the spawns are a little larger here. Sometimes we're fighting 5 or 6 guys at a time instead of always 2 or 3. And that's because we're setting it on 2 players, so if this was normal difficulty and 2 of us walked into the mission, it would be like this. Not too bad. We can certainly handle it, as you can see. I screwed up a couple times. A couple times I've needed to do something like take a health inspiration, but for the most part, we're doing pretty well. And, yeah, one of the things I don't like about these gunners is they do slow you down. But I have really high recharge, so that's pretty good. They are also wildly accurate for some reason. I guess just as gunslingers. They're sharpshooters or whatever, but they're insanely accurate. And they hit a lot. So one of the things I have noticed, I've had this on, so the story of setting this to ×2, +2, is Liberty Lass, my tanker. I tried her on ×2 because she's a tanker, right? And they're supposed to, and she was doing fine in ×2, and I'm like, well, okay, then she wasn't on +2, she's on +0, but I upped her to ×2 instead of +1, so extra player instead of +1 level, because again, she's a tanker, she can't do a lot of damage, but she can take a lot of punishment, right? And so she's fine. So I said, well, if she can do it, Phoenix ought to be able to do it, and she can. So I started playing on ×2 players, and I've noticed that it's fine, but I definitely have to think about it more, and I definitely have to, you know, do this kind of thing where is this control tab? Why is control tab? So it is doing it wrong. Why is it doing the farthest target instead of the nearest target? It shouldn't. Yeah, I'm targeting the nearest and it's targeting the farthest. It shouldn't do that. Anyway, I can do it, but as you'll see, you gotta use a few more inspirations, and sometimes I gotta take a knee. And I thought, you know, that's good. That's actually bringing it back to a reasonable challenge level. You shouldn't be able to go through whole missions without ever taking a knee, without ever having to use an inspiration. Which, other than against elite bosses and stuff, I kind of can do at just +2. But putting it on +3 is going to get me to +4. You can see these guys are already +3s, right? They're 50s. So putting it on +3 is going to get it to +4s, and that's too much. And again, it's not too much to do. It's just going to be brutally hard, and I'm not in it for the brutality of the game, right? I don't mind it being challenging, but I don't want to be constantly worrying about dying every spawn. 2 gunslingers. See, this is why. So that's where you're at ×2 players. You have 2 gunslingers and a minion over there that I didn't see. The gunslingers are both lieutenants, right? Now, double clicking is still bringing me to the closest target. When you click on an attack and nobody's targeted, it does the nearest target. But control tab is also supposed to do it, and instead it's switching to the farthest target. So I don't know why it's doing that. Did I accidentally keybind change the option? I know there's an option to change it. I think there is. Let's check the options here. Key mapping. Targeting. Target next enemy. Tab. Target nearest enemy. Control tab. So why is it not targeting the nearest enemy? That's strange. Control tab. See, now these guys are closer, right? If I just hit this, it targets him, right? He's the closest. But if I hit control tab, it's targeting the farthest enemy. So I don't know why it's doing that. That's buggy. That's weird. I've never had it do that to me before. You know, the only time I've ever had to do it is when I had the setting wrong. But the setting is correct, so I don't know what's going on. So let's use this. Whoops, no. Let's use this to target the nearest guy. So we got Gunslinger here, Gunslinger. Alright, so we we want this guy, actually. Because he's going to pull out the auto turret, and we don't need that. We don't want that around. Alright, and then we go to the two gunslingers. We're going to try to knock them over. Got one. And so Cobra Strike is now awesome. It is as powerful as any of our other attacks because we have the set, and it's doing great. Sometimes it throws a little lethal damage in there. Dragon's Tail is awesome with the other set, and so yeah, the sets are actually doing really well for us, making us quite powerful. So there's a kidnap victim right there. So we will queue up an attack and go kick. And the main reason I did that was to make sure he didn't pull out a turret, because hitting them does stop them. It's an interruptible. It's just a very quick interruptible. It's weird that there are all these hostages, but it's not telling me how many hostages I need to rescue, which is very strange. This is an odd mission. So we got a Titan, there's an engineer. Alright, again. We want to interrupt that. Every time I hear the Titan thing, I think it's a sapper, because it's the same sound effect. It's not a sapper, though. We don't need that blue, so get rid of it. I'd rather have another purple. Okay, so the Gunslinger, he was a priority because he's more accurate. At least he certainly seems to hit me more often than the Titans. One thing you gotta watch for the Titans is they do throw out burn patches and other AoE attacks, and you definitely need to move out of them. Because I was looking at one point, and even when I'm in the burn patch, even when it's saying it's missing, it still hits me. Now, what is this? So he's a devoured. Wow. And he's just a boss. Oh, I'm so disappointed. I thought he was going to be an elite boss. He is a devouring earth. Interesting. So the sapper is being led, or being the Malta are being led by a devouring earth. That is very interesting. All right. Well, he's just a, what is he? A +2 boss. He's going to have about 75-80% chance to hit, about a 40% chance to hit me. If I throw on a luck, it'll be 30. I'm going to go ahead and pop a loot. I don't think we need the accuracy. Yeah, loot will help me against the sapper also. We don't need the focus accuracy, so I'm not going to bother for anything during this. Come here. Wow, I got stuck there. Okay, we took out him. Took out the engineer. Yeah, the reason for a loot here is because I knew I was going to have to spend, I don't know, what is it, 30-45 seconds being swiped at by the boss without being able to hit back, because I had to take the minions out first. Alright, so now, you can see that one hit takes me down to like 40% of my hit point bar. One more hit and I'm going to have to take a heal. In fact, I can take this heal right here. It's fine. Defense is now 84. So if we take a look on hit rolls, and I'll glance at it in a moment. So he has a 7.8% chance. So it's definitely the case. Whatever their base chance to hit, their floor is 10% of that. So he must have had a 78% base chance to hit me. So we still got a loot going, so these guys aren't going to be able to hit me either. So it kind of doesn't matter what we do here in terms of who we hit first, just because you shouldn't be able to hit me much. Of course, there's always luck. You can always get hit occasionally. But I'm not going to worry about like taking them out in the right order, because with the loot going, you don't need to worry about that too much. And we got a really big blue, that's good. Auto turret. It's really odd that they have these kidnap victims, but they didn't tell you how to rescue anyone. It just says defeat Moment and his men. I mean, that by definition, defeating the men who are the kidnappers is is saving the kidnappers. It was just very odd that they didn't say, oh, there's 8 kidnapped victims, and you got to rescue them all. Of course, I got the wrong guy, so I'm going to have to defeat the turret now. Or did I get him in time? I guess I got him in time. And this should be the end of the mission. Yep. Ah, I bet that wasn't really Moment. We defeated Shapeshifter Moment. Where's the reward merit? So it can't be the story arc, so something else is going on. I thought this was the end of the story arc, but maybe not. Maybe it wasn't really Moment. I bet it wasn't. So let's take a look. Let's call our contact. Let's see what the clues say. We didn't get a clue. Yeah, so let's talk to... That's weird, no clue. Let's talk to Crimson. Where it's not over, right? Because we got a clue, but the story arc's not over. He did a superb job on this one. Ambassador Zhang Xiaoshuan and his assistant Liang Linwei are back in control of the Chinese embassy. The thing is, that still leaves us with two loose ends. First off, Moment seems to have been working for Malta, but why would the Malta group want to destabilize... Oh! Somebody's shooting at me. Oh yeah, Righte's shooting at me. Why is he shooting at me? That's weird. Turn the toggles back on. Why are you shooting at me? Was you just sort of happen to be sitting here when I walked out? Maybe. It's Peregrine Island, right? Back to the... Oh, so, see, I lost what he was saying to me. I fought the shapeshifter called Moment. Though he tried to defeat you by using combat form, you prevailed. The real Ambassador Zhang went back to work, but you were still left with a number of questions, which Crimson was asking me, and I had to close because I was being attacked. Right. So what does he say now? While the situation at the Chinese embassy is back to normal, it doesn't mean that this is all over. Indigo is looking for more information on that Dr. Lamar, and while she's doing that, we have some questions about Moment and the Malta group's motives. And this has got to be a spawn. Yeah. Just go away. It's not an ambush. It's just a spawn. Leave me alone. Alright. So we're away from the Rigby. There's nobody up here. Alright, now we can actually talk to him. Where's his thing? Here we go. So he's saying, I'd like you to go and look for more information on the Malta's objectives. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on here. So they're trying to figure out why is this guy working with the Malta group. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to read the whole dialogue because I got ambushed. What's going on here? Oh, this is one of these events. The dropships. Yeah, the Rigby are... That's why I got attacked by Rigby. The Rigby are invading Peregrine Island. The skies are dark. Yeah, there's a Rigby invasion going on. I'm not going to do that right now, guys. This is mostly an OBS test and see how it works. Hopefully you've enjoyed. What I'm doing is I'm calling this Season 5, Episode 1. And this is sort of a new season. We're using a different recording software. We've had a break since the old season where I did a bunch of stuff without recording it. And now I'll be recording maybe once a day. And I'll bring you guys back if I think I'm getting ready for the next the end of this story arc. I hope you've enjoyed. I'm Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes.